close the fraternity run with some of the um, documents available for you to complete edition on Steam. And since I don't have a computer right now, I'm doing it on my PS4. And I put all the documents on my drive, my Google Drive, and all that good stuff, so I can just reference them there. It's be a little bit more in depth. I've never beaten the game, so take that with a grain of salt. I've only gotten halfway through without, and then kind of died for whatever reason. So here's my next playthrough. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do with my character, but we'll just go see how it works out anyway. So anyway, in me, since it's been a little bit, I totally forgot after you hit a new game, it shows you the intro little visionette of a caravan wandering through the wilds and ultimately having to stop because there's a downed tree, and they had to stop at some Ingwithian ruins with Adra, which are basically like crystallized rocks that look pretty nifty, but they're, as you will find out, they're protected by Irglanfathans who view the ruins that were camped out as holy. It's kind of like if you ever play like strategy games, you know, like if someone declares something holy, they're pretty much killed for it, or even in real life. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how we do. So first things first. Luckily, wait, what? That's what I thought. Okay. So luckily, since I'm going from computer to console, the controls will just give me some kind of getting used to, I guess, little beginners luck, I guess, whatever. So, male. The place of men in society varies from culture to culture. Cultures like Adir and the Deerwood place them at the forefront of military, politics, and heavy labor. Among the tribes of, how do you pronounce that? Nasitak? Let me see how you pronounce that. Sorry. I want to get it right the first time, right? Of course, it doesn't tell you. I'm looking through the guide here at the peoples and cultures, and that's the one that does not appear to be there. Or any pronunciation key, I should say. The Deerwood, yep, I got that one right. That's easy enough. Adir and Deerwood. We're just in Nastak. Men perform many of the homesteading and organizational duties in Air Glenfath and Examatil. Men and women have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to the rule, and men can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. A woman's role in Neora is largely dependent on where she is from. In the 80-year Empire, Valian republics, and the Deerwood, women occupy many domestic, educational, organizational roles. They're primarily, this music is way loud. I don't know if can't do the options yet, I guess. So I apologize if you can't hear me right now. They are primarily hunters, soldiers, and leaders of the tribes of Nastak. In Irglenfath and the Iximtil, women and men have more fluid social roles in all society. There are exceptions to the rule, and women can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. So I think we will just do female then. See what we can do from there. Next, we'll do the humans. Humans, most commonly called folk, are the most common race in the Deerwood, the Adir Empire, Old Valia, and the Valian republics. They're not as large. They're not as large as the town Amawa. Humans are known for their strength and willpower. Resolve +1, might +1. Might and resolve are both attributes, not really stats, but more like attributes. I guess they are stats because at the top it sees might, constitution, dex is dexterity, pair is perception, int is intelligence, and res is resolve. Resolve is kind of like how much you can, like if, I guess it's self-explanatory if you know English a little bit. Like your fighting spirit, might gives healing and physical strength, and basically weapon, kind of like better weapon attacks. If we choose human, we can go with the metal folk. The most common humans endured the metal folk, or Theatin, have lived in that area for almost 2,000 years. Metal folk traditionally live at the edges of elven forests, working in the open plains, hence their name. Most humans in India are Theatin, and all the humans have the same racial passive. Fighting spirit once per encounter, 5 seconds after being reduced below 50% endurance, which is kind of like the first bulwark against your health, because endurance, if you get knocked out with endurance, you're knocked out for the fight, unless like a priest or whatever, cleric revives you. But health, if you've lost all your health, which is what endurance is kind of like a snapshot of, then you've either maimed, depending on the difficulty settings, or you're just gone for sure. So that's what endurance is. Folk temporarily gain bonuses to accuracy and damage. Ocean folk. Ocean folk Kobandra originated near the equator on the other side of the globe and are currently the most widespread human group in that region, but they have also migrated to the far reaches of the world. Ocean folk are the dominant culture in the Valian republics and are also common in the Deerwood. Savannah folk. Savannah folk, Natlan, come originally from just south of the equator, and with the exception of some groups that migrated north, have remained in the same location for over 10,000 years. The name Natlan literally means original, while quite common in Reds. Let me see. I don't want to butcher that one. I can guess on some of the others, but some of these are just too cool. Let's see here. Rayad Ceres. While quite common in Rayad Ceres, Savannah folk are not usually seen in Deerwood and the Valian republics. Almawa. These are cool looking people. The mighty Almawa are the largest of the Kith races and are commonly found in or near oceans. Though not truly aquatic, they have an affinity for water, and many of their civilizations, such as Ratai, are based on naval dominance. They are known for their unparalleled strength. Coastal Island. Coastal, viewed as a warlike race, the coastal Amawa live in a mainland region along the coasts of the northern hemisphere. Lands they conquered by pushing their metalfolk, Natlan, Savannah folk, and other Orland communities out. Orlands are kind of like furry hobbits. They're kind of like more beast-like than actual like furries, I guess. And like Khajiit from Skyrim or Elder Scrolls, they're more like a cross between a Khajiit and a bobcat. Like literally a bobcat with all the hair sticking out. Their culture is more centralized and urban than their island cousins, so both groups are involved in seafaring. Coastal Amawa are very rare in the Deerwood, but those that do make their journey do so as mercenaries, bodyguards, or soldiers. Towering physique. Coastal Amawa gain bonuses to defend against prone. Prone is kind of like when you're laying flat, like knocked down basically, and stun effects. Island Amawa. Is there a difference? Let's see. Yep, this is coastal. This is island. Island Amawa originated in the Deadfire Archipelago, 1,000 miles south of the Valian Republics. While physiologically similar to their coastal cousins, the coloration of Island Amawa is starkly different. Brown and yellow, contrasting the coastal's blue and green. Though still uncommon in the Deerwood and surrounding environments, Island Amawa are more commonly encountered there than coastal Amawa. Were quite rare. When encountered around the Deerwood, they are often laborers, fishermen, or sailor, armed to the teeth. All Island Amawa gain an additional weapon set. Kind of like you can swap between weapons like in most online games that are kind of RPG-esque. This one, there's usually two in this game, so this gives them a third. Dwarf, one of my favorite races in these kind of games. By virtue of land covered and number of colonies settled, dwarves are the most well-traveled race in the world. They are commonly found in the Deerwood, the Valiant Republics, and almost any colonized land. Dwarves are known for their great strength and tenacity. Might +2, dexterity -1, because they're stocky, I guess. And constitution +1, which is kind of like health and endurance. So mountain dwarf and boreal dwarf. That's pretty cool. Mountain dwarf. Mountain dwarves, Aptapo, I guess, originating on the continents to the east of the Deerwood and have spread through the area several times. Unlike the similarly diminutive Orlans, who are frequently subjugated, the Aptapo have always directly fought back threats posed by larger kith, which are basic kin, kind of like the kithkin, literally from like fantasy, kind of like this, the humanoid races, I guess, and opted to fortify their residences rather than move on. Mountain dwarves are common in the Valiant Republics, but not seen as often in the Deerwood and Riad Ceres. Hale and hardy, mountain dwarves have a bonus to defend against poison and disease attacks. Those are just types of attacks. Obviously, they're self-explanatory. Disease is kind of like damage over time as well as poison. Boreal dwarf. Most boreal dwarves, Umudamic, let me see if I got that right. Give me 1 second. Anutinic. Yeah, I was close. Anutinic live in a remote southern island in Nistatak. I wish it would give me a thing of that. Shoot. Where they share the rocky tundra and the snow-covered forest with migratory pale elves and the coast-hugging ships of Amawa. Like their northern cousins, the Nutinic share an instinctive love of exploration. Boreal dwarves are somewhat common in the Valiant Republics, but seldom encountered in the Deerwood. Hunter's instincts. Boreal dwarves will gain a 15% accuracy against any creature of the wild or primordial types. Primordial are kind of like ancient, but not evil. They're kind of like oozes and stuff, I think. And wild are kind of like trolls and stuff. Really, Coco? Elf. Elves are the dominant race in Irglandfath, and the white that wins, and are extremely common in the Deerwood and Adir. Elves are known for their speed and intelligence, as well as commonly isolationist nature. Dexterity +1, perception +1. Wood elf. Wood elves. Let's see if there's. Okay, we got that. Wood elves, Skelterfolk, trace their beginnings far north of present-day Adir, and have migrated south throughout the forests of the continent, now covering it all the way south across the equator. They are also believed to have migrated across the sea to Erglanfath. While physiologically identical to another, Wood elves from Adir are culturally different from those in Erglanfath, and consider themselves wholly different groups. Distant advantage. Against any enemy that is more than 4 meters away, Wood elves gain bonuses to accuracy, deflection, which is kind of like a evasion kind of thing, more like along terms of dexterity, and reflex. Well, one of them has to. I'm guessing reflex has to do more dexterity, but I can look when we get into the stats and stuff. Pale elf. It is unclear exactly how long ago the Pale elves, Glamfelin, came to the southern polar regions of the world, but they have lived there for at least 12,000 years, based on their continuous contact with Amawa traders. Amawa, I hope I'm saying that right. They appear to be among the most stationary ethnic group in the known world, migrating within the polar regions, but seldom reaching far north. They are rare in the northern lands, and most people consider them exotic if they have seen one at all. Really? Stupid cat. Oh, this is the game manual. Oh, this might work. So let's see. Dexterity. An abstraction of a character's hand-eye coordination, balance, and overall grace. Affects action speed, how fast a character can perform an attack or a spell, and reflexes defense. So let's see the difference between those. Okay. Not helpful. Not helpful at all. Oh, here we go. No, maybe. You'd think the game manual would have this. Nope. I apologize. I wish I knew the difference between deflection and reflex. But Pale Elves have elemental endurance. All Pale Elves have increased burn and freeze damage reduction. Burn, fire, freeze, ice. Yes. Orlin. Might play as him, I don't know. Orlin. Orlins are the smallest of the Kith races, though many cultures don't consider them to be civilized at all. Also notable for their large ear, two-toned skin, and hirsute bodies, Orlins are commonly found in the air gland throughout the X-middle. I'm gonna look that up. I don't be stupid. Hey dear, I'm saying it right. Yep. Huh. Doesn't give a pronunciation of the X-middle plains and parts of the Deerwood. They are known for their mental intensity and sharp sense. Resolve +1, might -1 because they're kind of small, like almost like the dwarves are a little bit better with that. Perception +2. Give me 1 second. I can give you the rundown of what each of these will do for me. If I can, it'll be right here. Okay, so perception is the character's senses as well as their instinctive ability to pick up on details. It affects accuracy with all attacks, the range of the non-melee spells and abilities, and reflexes defense. So they got +2 to that. So they're good like with ranged weapons like guns and bows and crossbows and all that good stuff. So that'd be a good chance for a chanter. That'd be a good, which we'll get into later. Resolve. So let's actually see what resolve is. A character's inner drive, determination, and the emotional intensity they can project to others affects concentration, resist interrupts, durations of all spawn abilities, and the will of defense. This is a great chanter class. Let's see what we can do. Hearth Orlan. Hearth Orlans are often found as slaves in Riad Ceres and the Valiant Republics. One of the treaty terms between the Deerwood and the people of Air Glenfath was the liberation of Orlan slaves, and while this has been honored, many Hearth Orlans continue to live in the Deerwood as indentured servants. Minor threat. When attacking any target that is also being targeted by a teammate, Hearth Orlans convert some of their hits into crits. Like, instead of actually hitting them squarely, they actually do double the damage, or 1.5 the damage, I think it is in this game. Wild Orlan. Wild Orlans are the original quote-unquote Orlans who lived in the deepest forests and jungles between the tropics. While they have been significantly separated from Hearth Orlans for 1,000 years, few genetic differences have appeared rapidly, most notably a lack of facial hair in the Hearth Orlan branch. Wild Orlans are commonly in the deep reaches of Air Glenfath. Unlike their Hearth Orlan brethren, they are not often seen in the Deerwood, Riad Ceres, or the Valiant Republic. Defiant Resolve. After being subjected to a will attack, Wild Orlans temporarily gain a bonus to all defenses. I wish they did totally break this down in the game manual, but they do not. And that's very sad. And okay, here we go. Here it is. Crit. So every dice roll, every time they go to hit, if it's between a certain amount and another amount, it's either a miss, a graze, a hit, or a crit. So crit is 1.5 damage. Yes. Times the damage, I should say. It's a 1.5 multiplier to the damage. So, godlike, which are really interesting for these kind of games, which is kind of an interesting original concept almost, I think. Godlike. The godlike are children of the Kith, civilized races, who have been blessed with physical aspects associated with the gods, though some do not consider it a blessing. These aspects may take many forms and often come with mystical powers. Aberrant head shapes, kind of like weird, kind of abnormal head shapes, are typical, and godlike are unable to wear protective headgear, as it is near impossible to find anything that fits. Because of their unusual nature and their inability to reproduce, they're kind of sterile then. Godlike are often viewed with fear and wonder. Dexterity +1, intellect +1. And while that's going on, we will go back to our stats and kind of go over that a little bit. Intellect. The character's logic and reasoning capabilities, as well as their tactical instincts, affects the size of all area of effect in the will and deflection defenses. And dexterity. Abstraction of a character's hand. Yeah, we said that. Okay. So let's see what kind of godlike we have. We have the death godlike. Death godlike are the most distrusted of their kind. Strange growths cover their eyes, or in some cases entire face, giving them a sinister appearance. The growths are transparent for the godlike, but opaque from the outside, hiding their features. Death godlike are commonly killed at birth because many cultures consider them to be harbingers of doom. Death's Usher. When Death godlike attack an enemy with 25% or less endurance, their damage is increased. So basically, if they're like almost on the verge of death, they're gonna do more damage to them, which is interesting. Fire godlike. The bodies of fire godlike often resemble hot metal, burnt wood, or stone, with harmless flames that erupt from the cracks on your skin. Fire godlike are objects of both reverence and fear in the Deadfire archipelago. Many locals believe they have the power to awaken volcanoes, or that killing one will cause a volcano to awaken. In Deerwood, fire godlike are often seen as a sign of the blessing of Magrin, goddess of war and fire, which we'll get into later, but right now we're just into character creation. We haven't really gotten into the lore too much on it. Battle Forge. When reduced below 50% endurance, fire godlike glow like metal in a forge, gaining damage reduction, and doing a small amount of fire damage to any creature who hits them in melee. Like basic fire thorns, if you've ever played Diablo 2. Moon godlike. Moon godlike are the most tolerated of the godlike. While their skin tone and a large moon-like growth on their foreheads may be strange to some, their appearances are generally considered more palatable by the other Kith. Sailors have many beliefs about moon godlike and their propensity to bring luck, though there is little agreement as to what kind of luck they tend to bring. Silvertide, which is this ability is pretty good, as It's like a wave, an AoE of healing. Silvertide. Every encounter when reduced below 75%, 50%, and 25% endurance, Moon Godlike generate waves of healing moonlight that restore endurance to them and their allies. And again, the endurance is the kind of snapshot of the health. If endurance goes, they just pass out. But if health goes, they either get maimed first time, depending on difficulty, or they die completely and you can't use them anymore. So keep an eye on that. Nature Godlike. Nature Godlike appear to be a fusion of humans and animal features, often covered by plant, moss, and fungi. This has led to the common stigma that they are diseased, and many are killed at birth because of it. Many druidic orders have a keen interest in nature godlike because of their general curiosity as the households occupy animals, plants, and stones. Wellspring of Life grants a bonus might, constitution, and dexterity when endurance is below 50%. I think we're going to do a Orlin. What kind of Orlin? I don't know. If we do Mom Mentality, we might want to do Hearth. Yeah. That should be fun. So race. So here we go. Barbarian, Brutes, Madmen, Berserkers. Those city-dwelling people often use the term barbarian with a dose of disrespect. These rural warriors are respected by their communities for their ferocity and fearsome presence on the battlefield. Barbarians have a special, almost religious role in some cultures, but in many places, the undisciplined, fearless style of the barbarian simply is how warriors conduct themselves. Starting ability: Carnage. When barbarians hit, like a square hit, like a palpable hit, as Shakespeare would say, with melee attack, they automatically make reduced damage attacks that all other enemies with a short distance of the target. It's kind of like an AoE effect. They kind of like do a whirlwind kind of effect, kind of thing. Athletics +2. Athletics. Here's the stats. No, these are the attributes. I'm sorry, attributes. Because the stats are at the top of the screen: might, mig, con, constitution, dexterity, perception, intelligence, and resolve. So athletics is kind of something that can be increased as you level up, but athletics enable you to perform athletic feats, of course, as well as be less fatigued, so you can journey further without getting tired. And if you're fatigued, you suffer skill penalties and movement penalties in combat. Survival is kind of like how you can do more damage or how you can survive against things in combat, and if depending on your level of survival, when you rest at a campfire or usually rest at a campfire. If you rest, you get you can choose a survival bonus depending on your level of survival that level your survival is at, up to and including double damage or more damage against certain types of enemies. One specific type of enemy that you can choose. So that works. Endurance 48 +16 level by level, so these are the derived stats. Endurance 48 at least +16 over the level. So whatever your level is, like say level 1, so it's 16. I'm guessing that's what it is. I don't really mess around with derived stats. I've always taken them at face value, but it's very high endurance. Health 6 times endurance is very high. So health itself is 6 times the endurance level, which as a frontline fighter is, if you're going to be a barbarian, should be very high. Accuracy 25 +3 derived by level. Deflection. There we go. I did not know that. Let's go through these. Because there you're going to be defenses. There are 4 defenses in Pillars of Eternity: Deflection, Fortitude, Reflex, and Will. Each defense is used to resist a different category of attacks through the attack roll. Like I said, each attack is governed by a dice roll. RNG God, whatever you want to call it, RNGesus, whatever. Deflection is used to resist most direct weapons attacks or attacks that are similar to weapons. So I was wrong. It was reflex. That was dexterity based. I apologize. Fortitude opposes physical attempts to overpower a character or attack their body internally. Example via poison. Physical area effect attacks like fireball and lightning bolts are resisted by reflex. Almost all mental attacks are opposed by will. Fortitude, reflex, and will are all based on pairs of attributes: might and constitution. Fortitude, reflex, and will are all based on pairs of attributes. Might and constitution define fortitude. Dexterity and perception define reflex, which makes sense. And intellect and resolve define will. Base deflection is defined by the character's class and resolve. All characters gain flat bonuses to the defenses every level. Additionally, spells, abilities, afflictions, and items can all modify a character's defenses. Obviously, because if you have like some good items, you can always modify everything you got. So reputation. Reputations can be held with communities over factions in Eastern Reach, which is where the game takes place, and will affect how members of that group respond to you. In some cases, friends or enemies of those groups will also react to your affiliations. Helping a group will increase your positive reputation with that group. Harming a group will increase your negative reputation. It's possible to have a mix of positive and negative reputation with a group if you help and harm them in equal measure. It's kind of like, okay, not to spoil anything, but there's many cities and many regions where you can gain reputation. Quests, personal, I guess, relationships with NPCs, non-playable characters will result in different, like it'll say in the quest box or completed quest box, blah blah blah, gain minor positive or gain minor negative or gain moderate high positive or negative. So that's how you gain reputation. Endurance. So how did we get here anyway? Oh, I see. Athletics. Adventuring is tiring work. In addition to the hazards of mortal combat, puns aside, adventurers have walls to climb, rivers to cross, and pits to leap over. Once per encounter, characters with athletics can use the second wind ability to recover lost endurance. A higher athletics score increases the effect of second wind. That's as good for barbarians and fighters. That second wind, obviously, because you're wanting to stay in the fight as long as possible, fight on. In conversations and scripted interactions, athletics is used for physical feats like climbing, swimming, and jumping. Really, why does it do this? Okay, lore. Lore represents the character's accumulated miscellaneous knowledge. How did we get to... I don't know how we did that. Wow. Well, we should have kept going, but... How do we do that anyway? Wow. Okay. Damage types. There are 8 damage types in Pillars of Eternity. Slash, pierce, crush, burn, shock, corrode, freeze, and raw. Raw is kind of like non-elemental damage. It just goes through everything. Damage types are used to determine how easily a target resists damage of that type based on their damage reduction. A creature or suit of armor may be very resistant to one type of damage but quite vulnerable to another. Some weapons or attacks may do multiple damage types or list an OR between their damage types. When an OR is listed, the attack will always do the damage type that the target is most vulnerable to. Raw damage is the only damage type that ignores all damage reductions. Keyword: ignores all damage reductions, and is generally associated with poison and similar effects. Survival. Survival allows characters to choose from a variety of long-term bonuses each time they can. First 6 ranks grant the following bonuses. At rank 1 is damage reduction. At rank 2 is received healing multiplier. At rank 3 is bonus movement during combat, I'm sure. At rank 4 it's accuracy bonuses versus creature type. That's what it is. It's not accurate. It's not damage. It's accuracy bonus. Okay. At rank 5 it's increased consumable duration like potions, food, etc. At rank 6, bonus damage versus flanked enemies. After the 6th rank, the previously earned bonuses become more powerful in the same order they were received. Survival can also be used in conversations and scripted interactions that involve wilderness challenges or specialized information about nature. Okay, endurance. Endurance represents the character's short-term survivability. Damage that is not absorbed by a character's damage reduction goes straight to the endurance and health. Potions and healing magic, such as from a paladin, priest, or druid, can restore endurance in combat. When a character's endurance reaches 0, he or she will be knocked out. A knocked out character can be brought back in combat through the use of a revive ability. Otherwise, characters will regain all their endurance at the end of combat, assuming they're on the winning side. That's kind of tongue-in-cheek, I guess, isn't it? To have a wipeout a party. Health. Health is long-term damage only regained through rests and certain talents. Damage that is not absorbed by a character's damage reduction goes straight to their health and endurance. blah blah blah. When a character's health reaches 0, they'll either be maimed or killed, depending on game settings. Like I said, I have it on maim first. A maimed character who is reduced to 0 health will always be killed, regardless of setting. So if they get hit again, they're dead. Unlike endurance, a character's health does not get restored after combat, but characters have much larger health values than endurance values. This is the relationship between endurance and health. Endurance is more like the short term, like the short version of health. But endurance is what you normally go for in battle. If you run a certain amount of endurance, which is health, if your endurance reaches 0, which is a snapshot, like I said, of health, you either get knocked out, like it says. So. Accuracy. Accuracy is part of almost every attack. It influences how likely the attack is to affect the target. Accuracy is defined primarily by a character's class and level, but is also influenced by perception, talents, and other active effects such as spells or items. When an attack is made, the accuracy is compared to the appropriate defense on a target to determine how the attack roll will be modified. If accuracy is above the target's defenses, it will be more likely to result in a hit or crit, and less likely to resolve in a graze, which is kind of like a I hit you, but I kind of just scratched you, or miss. Any ability or talent that does not use a weapon as part of the attack gains a small accuracy bonus based on the level of the character. Good to know. Here we go, deflection. Deflection is the defense. We already said it, didn't we? Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, it actually spells it out for you. Deflection is the defense used to resist direct melee and range attacks against the character that are not in the area of effect. It is defined by the character's class, level, and resolve, but may also be influenced by the shields, certain weapons, talents, and other effects from spells or items. Thank you, person. So we'll go left, right, I guess. Left, right, left, and then down the left. Go this way. We'll go like that. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of like that. So Paladin. Paladins are martial zealots, developed to a god, ruler, or even a way of life. They can be found in any culture where a fanatical group of like-minded individuals have formed a warrior society dedicated to advancing their cause. Among those aligned to their worldview, paladins are viewed with respect and admiration, if a bit of fear. Many paladins hold leadership positions in armies and mercenary companies. But in heat of battle, their fanaticism often overrules their chain of command and common sense. Starting ability, faith and conviction. Paladins have an inherent bonus to all their defenses. Over the course of the game, the value of this bonus may shift based on the reputation the paladin gains relative to the behaviors that are preferred by his or her order. Athletics +2, lore +1, endurance 42 +14 over level, very high. Health 5 times endurance, high. Accuracy 25 +3 over level, very high. Deflection 20, not as high as Barbarian, though. No, it is higher than Barbarian. What is the word? Oh, health, I guess. Yeah, Barbarian has the more endurance. So let's look at lore. Lore. Lore represents the character's accumulated miscellaneous knowledge of trivia, often of occult or esoteric topics. Outside of conversation and scripted interactions, lore is used to activate scrolls, like spell scrolls, obviously. Higher lore values allow the character to use higher level scrolls. Thank you. Chanter. One of my favorite classes, spoiler alert. Chanter! In every culture across the Eora, there are chanters. Many historians consider chanters to be the most ancient workers of magic. Their hallowed phrases stirring the collective memory of any wayward souls around them, compelling them to generate magical effects in a kind of reenactment. Like literally, they're like warrior bards. But only like spell-slinging warrior bards. In some societies, chanters form organized groups of storytellers and researchers. For most parts of the world, they are just time-honored part of the local folk traditions. Starting ability. Tease. Phrases / chants. All chanters can continuously speak chants made up of magical phrases. Phrases produce passive effects and help build a chanter's power that they can use in invocation. Invocations. Powerful magical effects that chanters can create after they have spoken the required number of phrases through their chants. Lore +2, mechanics +1, endurance 36 +12 over level, high. Health 4 times endurance. They're kind of like spellcasters, so obviously their health's not going to be the greatest. Accuracy 25 +3 over level, very high. Deflection 25, very high. So let's see what a chant can do. What can chants do for you? Hit. A hit is any attack roll that is between 51 and 100 on a dice roll. So dice rolls roll 0 to 100, I believe. I'll get back to that real quick.
So, oh, and really? Let's see. Between 1 and 100. Okay. Anything under 6 is a miss. Anything 6 to 50 is a graze, which means it's halved. It's kind of a scratch. 50 to 95 is a hit. And anything over 95 is a crit. So there's about 6 points inclusive that could be a hit. I mean a crit, sorry. 6 numbers inclusive. So, let's see. Why are we on Barbarian? How'd that happen again? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna kill somebody. Okay, so chants. Chanters spend most of their time in combat speaking chants. Chants are arranged strings of magical phrases that produce different effects. As one phrase ends, its effects will linger. Kind of like a bonus, like a buff. It's kind of like a passive buff, or it could be that affects either enemies or allies. As one phrase ends, its effects will linger, overlapping with the effects of the next phrase. When a chant reaches the end of the final phrase, it will loop back to the beginning. Careful arrangement of phrases can produce a powerful sequence of passive effects. Chants. Okay, chants. Invocations. Doesn't say what an invocation is, does it? Of course not. That'd be too easy. Invocations are kind of like spells, like wizard spells almost, so they are like summons, which I like to use them for, which are pretty cool. They can summon skeletons, wyverns, which are like mini dragons, and phantoms, in the beginning at least. Priest. Oh, did we do everything? Oh, mechanics. No, we did not. Mechanics. Traps and locks can be a problem for even the toughest adventurers, draining their resources and maiming or killing those who are unfortunate enough to trigger an unseen floor plate. The mechanic skill makes it easier to open locks and find and disable traps. Additionally, any character can use the mechanic skill to place traps of their own. The higher the mechanic skill, the more accurate the trap, which helps if you're trying to like a doorway kind of thing, if you're trying to trap people in a doorway. The higher the mechanic skill, the more accurate the trap. In conversations and scripted interactions, mechanics can be used to activate or disable a variety of machines. Awesome. So priest. Oh, come on. Priest. Looks like medium armor, almost leather armor. Priests are devotees of Eora's deities and practitioners of religious magic. While all priests dedicate themselves to specific gods, priests' power is actually derived from their personal beliefs. In contrast to most paladins, priests tend to focus on philosophy, teaching, and the relationship of religious organizations with common folk. The reception of the priests in any given part of the world depends largely on how their god is revered or reviled by the people who live there. Studying abilities, Holy Radiance, generates a modest amount of endurance for allies around the priest. Any enemy vessels caught in an area take burn damage and may be frightened. Over the course of the game, the power of this ability may shift based on reputation the priest gains relative to the behaviors that are preferred by his or her deity. Spells. Priests have access to a variety of support and some offense-oriented spells. Every 2 levels, priests automatically gain access to an additional set of spells. Additionally, the spells can be cast for a limited number of times per rest. As priests gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift per encounter use. Okay, there's per encounter, per rest, and I think there's another per thing here. If I'm mistaken. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But per rest is like when you sleep in an inn or use a campfire in the wilderness to get your health back and to get the per rest spells for wizards and druids and priests back. Per encounter just means when you fight an enemy, that's 1 encounter. You beat the enemy, it resets per encounter. Counter. So basically, if you fight another enemy after the first enemy, you have those spells back that are per encounter. So, if that makes any sense. If need be, I can explain further. Let's just say, every fight you can reuse those per encounter spells. Endurance, 36 plus 12, over level, high. Health, 4 times endurance, low. Accuracy, 20 plus 3, over level, high. Deflection, 15, average. So, what don't we know? We don't know Frightened. Frightened, resolve and dexterity are reduced by 2, and accuracy is reduced by 10. Reputations we know about. It's hard. Burn damage. Burn. Nope, damage. Okay, that's easy enough. Okay, we're good. Cipher, which is another cool skill, which is another cool class, honestly, in my opinion. Cipher, a recent discovery in the Eastern Reach. Ciphers were once called, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm not going to try, Bishogwin Mindhunters by the Glen Fathens. Ciphers have the ability to directly contact and manipulate another person's soul and psyche, using allies or enemies' essence as a focus for their magic. Though most ciphers are still found in the Eastern Reach, practitioners of the techniques have spread throughout the known world. They are gaining acceptance over time, but are generally distrusted, especially by the uneducated. Starting ability. Powers. Ciphers can directly target allies and enemies with powerful soul focus effects. Think of a blue-red mage from Magic the Gathering if you ever played that game. That's what ciphers are. These powers cost focus, which ciphers build through the use of their soul whip, which is a passive ability but also an active ability at the same time because it enchants a weapon to build their focus for their cipher spells. So if the more powerful the soul whip, the more powerful their actual weapon, which helps them build focus for the actual spells they can cast. I know it's kind of a lot of information, I apologize, but you'll find out later. Stealth, +1. Lore, +1. Mechanics, +1. They got a lot of stuff going on. Endurance, 36 plus 12 over level is high. Health, 4 times endurance is low. Accuracy, 25 plus 3 over level is very high. Deflection, 20 is high, so we're going to do Stealth. Stealth allows characters of any class to attempt to avoid being seen or heard. It is actually used automatically whenever the character is in scouting mode, which is the sneak mode of this game, which is basically sneak. The higher the character's skill, the closer they can get to enemies before being detected. Ranger. Rangers are warriors of the woodland and masters of the hunt, always partnered with a soul-bonded animal companions, which they can get like a stelgare, which is kind of like a scorpion-tailed lion thing for a companion, which is kind of cool. They can be found in wild spaces all over the world, as their lifestyles often tend towards independence and isolation. It is rare for rangers to become an integral part of a large fighting force, so they are often employed as scouts and guides. Starting ability, Animal Companion. All rangers share a strong bond with the animal companion. Man fights as the ranger's ranger's command and is at the ranger's command, and is extremely valuable for its ability to run interference. It's kind of like it's their tank because they're ranged and they need like somebody to distract the enemy so they can shoot at it. Animal companions don't do much damage, but they have a high damage reduction tank. The link between a ranger and companion is powerful. If one goes down in battle, the other suffers as well. Excuse me. Stealth +1, survival +2. Endurance 36 plus 12 over level is high. Health 5 times endurance is high. Accuracy, of course, is very high. 30 plus 3 over level is very high. Deflection 20 is high. So, nothing we don't already know in terms of the tooltips. Druid. Animus Set Heart. Druids tap into the spiritual power that flows through the simple living things of Eora. Plants, animals, and sometimes even living stone. Well, not like Adra, which is basically what Adra is. Spoiler. While not necessarily religious, Druids do have a reverence for the natural world and keen interest in understanding its mysteries. In most cultures, Druids are understood as a sort of primal magician, but among the Glen Fathens, I can't pronounce that. In many rural cultures, they may have a high positions of influence and authority. Certain abilities, Spirit Shift. All Druids have mastered one animalistic form. These forms give the Druid strong melee abilities and get the additional power while a Druid is shifted. Spells. Druids have access to a variety of offensive and some support-oriented spells. Every 2 levels, Druids automatically gain access to an additional set of spells. Initially, their spells can be cast at a limited number of times per rest. As Druids gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift per encounter use. Lore +1, survival +2, endurance 36 plus 12 over level is high, health 4 times endurance is low. It's even weaker than a priest, it looks like. That's interesting. I'm pretty sure it's Accuracy 20 plus 3 over level is high. Deflection 20 is high. Rogue. Rogues are vicious killers, feared for the brutality of their attacks. They can be found as often in dark back alleys as the heart of a battlefield skirmishes. Though unpredictable and undisciplined, rogues are commonly used as shock troops or as part of a surprise assault. Their withering attacks, breaking enemy ranks and morale. Rogues tend to congregate in large numbers in cities where they can be steadily employed as mercenary or hired muscle. Starting ability, Sneak Attack. Applies bonus damage to the rogue's range and melee or weapon attacks when the target has any of the following afflictions: blinded, flanked, hobbled, paralyzed, petrified, prone, stuck, stunned, or weakened. This applies to any target the rogue strikes with a weapon within the first 2 seconds of combat. Stealth plus 1, mechanics plus 2. Endurance, 36 plus 12, over level, it's high. Stealth, 4 times endurance is low. Accuracy, 30 plus 3, over level, very high. Deflection, 15 average. So, what do we know? We don't know... Oh, there we go. Afflictions. Afflictions are explicitly bundled sets of status effects that can be applied to a suspend or fully remove from a character. While some afflictions have explicit overriding or exclusivity rules, and most afflictions can coexist with other afflictions. When a spell is cast on a target, it and its subordinate effects and afflictions are all bundled together in a procedurally bundled container created by the spell. If these procedurally bundled containers are applied while an identical version is in effect, i.e. blessing cast on someone already under the effect of a blessing, the new version replaces the old. No matter how many effects are on the target, generally only the best bonuses and the worst penalties are applied. So basically the highest level spell of that affliction is cast. Or boon. Buff, whatever. No matter how many effects are on the target, generally only the best bonuses and worst penalties are applied. Some creatures can be immune to one or more afflictions. If so, these afflictions cannot be applied to those creatures. Blinded. Accuracy is reduced by 25 for all sources. Perception is reduced by 4. Movement is reduced by 2. Reflex and deflection are reduced by 20. Flanked. Deflection is reduced by 10. Hobbled. Anybody? Hobbled characters have their dexterity reduced by 2, movement by 1.5, and reflex by 20. Come on, Paralyzed. Where are you? Paralyzed. A paralyzed target can't take any action. Their dexterity is set to 0, and their reflex and deflection are reduced by 40. Override, stunned, stuck, and prone. Come on, Petrified. Petrified, a character's soul temporarily transforms their body into an immobile, brittle stone. They suffer the same effects as being paralyzed, but attacks do greatly increase damage. Overrides, paralyzed, stunned, stuck, and prone. Prone. Prone characters can't take action. Dexterity is reduced by 2. Reflex and deflection are reduced by 10. Stuck. Stuck characters are rooted, able to act, but unable to leave their current locations. Dexterity is reduced by 2. Accuracy is reduced by 5 for all sources. Reflex and deflection are reduced by 20. Stunned. Stunned characters can't take any action. Dexterity, perception, and intellect are all reduced by 4. Reflex and deflection are reduced by 30. Override, stuck, and prone. One more. Weakened. Weakened characters have their might and constitution reduced by 2. Movement is reduced by 1. Fortitude and will reduced by 20. Awesome. Fighter. Fighters form the front line of discipline. If you haven't played this game before, play a fighter. You won't regret it. Fighters are the easiest. They're like noob-friendly characters you can play in this game, which is really cool. I would choose for a beginner. I would either choose. Well, fighters and paladins are basically the same thing, except paladins are more limited because they have a certain mindset they have to have and keep in order to do anything with. But fighters are all around good characters to have as a first-time player. Fighters form the front lines of disciplined armies across the Eastern Reach. Though they are most commonly found in cultures with an organized martial structure, fighters can also be encountered as wandering mercenaries, bodyguards, and other types of sellswords. The common element that unifies fighters is their heavy focus on endurance and melee defense. Starting ability, constant recovery. Fighters continually regenerate endurance as at a moderate rate during combat. Athletics plus 1, lore plus 1, survival plus 1. Endurance, 42 plus 40, yeah, it's usually high. Health, 5 times endurance is high because of their endurance level being extremely high. Accuracy, 30 plus 3 over level, very high. Deflection, 30, very high. Wizard, masters of academic. Wizards are glass cannons. No matter what armor you put on them, they won't last. Masters of academic magic, wizards are students of arcane traditions that stretch back beyond the boundaries of recorded history. Wizards are a highly organized group, often forming academies or guilds devoted to research and development of magical studies, and tend to favor environments where inquiry, experiments, debate, and the dissemination of knowledge are encouraged. Many accomplished wizards eventually become known for their eccentricity, their egos, and their unquenchable interest in all things arcane and occult. Starting abilities: Arcane Assault, mid-range attack that hits a small area for raw damage, which, again, raw damage is like poison, the non-elemental damage that goes to all damage reduction, basically, and can leave targets dazed. And Dazed, a victim's accuracy is reduced by 10, dexterity, perception, and intellect are all reduced by 2, and attack speed is reduced by 15%. Shoot. Spells. Wizards have access to a variety of offensive and personal defense spells. Yes, they do. It is an extensive list. Unlike priests and druids, wizards learn individual spells that they store in and cast. They store in and cast directly from the grimoires. Grimoires can only hold 4 spells of each spell level, which motivates wizards to keep multiple grimoires for different needs. Every 2 levels, wizards gain access to an additional set of spells. However, they can automatically learn 1 spell of any level that they can access each time they advance. Wizards also have the option of learning spells from grimoires they find or buy. Initially, their spells can be cast a limited number of times per rest. As wizards gain power, their weakest spells eventually per encounter use. So endurance 36 plus 12 over a level is high, health 4 times endurance is low, accuracy 20 plus 3 over a level is high, deflection is low. And monk, which is a class which seems interesting with the wounds kind of mechanic, but I have not tried. Monks belong to a variety of fighting orders that sprung up in Ixmital and Eastern Reach over the past few centuries. While many monastic orders can trace their teachings to the enduring founder Teltak, I guess it's a silent T, Letak. Individual organizations vary greatly in their focus, morality, and ethics. Common folk respect the incredible discipline of monks, but see them as an odd, unpredictable bunch who may not be entirely sane. Even mercenaries and other adventurers aren't sure what to make of them. Starting ability: Transcendent Suffering. When monks have no weapons equipped, their unarmed attacks are exceptionally powerful and continue to increase in damage as they gain levels. Wounds. This is what I'm talking about. As monks are damaged, their pain generates wounds. Wounds can be used to power many of the monk's special abilities. Stealth plus 1, Athletics plus 1, Survival plus 1. Endurance 42 plus 14 over level, very high. Health 6 times endurance, very high. Accuracy 30 plus 3 over level, very high. Deflection to basically the best melee fighters, it looks like. But we are choosing the Chanter. So these are these the invocations, or are these invocations? Are these... We'll see here, how can we tell? No, these are just chants. These are the passive chants. At the sight of their comrades, their hearts grew bold. Emboldens allies in the area's effect, giving bonuses to fortitude and will. Duration 4 seconds, and it lingers 2 seconds after that. Around the aura, plus 10 fortitude, plus 10 will. Come soft winds of death. Rains a portion of endurance from all enemies in the area of effect. Duration 4 seconds, linger 2 seconds for or. Ooh, that does look good. That looks good. It might be an offensive and I have someone else be my beneficial one. Thick grew their tongues, stumbling over words. Reduces concentration of enemies in the area of effect. Dull the edge, blunt point. Reduces slashing and piercing damage of enemies. That is good with people that use swords, knives, daggers, maybe some bows. Yeah, that's cool. Blessed was Wind-Geared, quickest of his tribe. You know what? We might do this and this. But what's this? Yeah, that's good. Oh, it does say phrases. Oh, they're called phrases. But yeah. Here's the invocations. White worms writhe in the bellies of the dead, cause a nearby downed enemy to explode, expelling 3 white grubs and crushing nearby enemies. Requires 3 phases, chanting. Yep. Foe AoE 21. Okay, here's the thing. With foe AoE versus normal AoE can target friends and foes alike. If it's just friendly AoE, it only targets your party members. If it's foe AoE, it only targets enemies, which is very important in wizard spells, because wizard spells can just decimate both groups if you're not careful. But this one, foe AoE, 21 to 31 crush damage, accuracy versus a reflex. Okay. Thrice was she wronged, and thrice justly avenged. Drains electrostatic energy from the environment to create the 3 bolts of lightning, causing shock damage to any in their path. Foe AoE, 12 to 19 shock damage. The thunder rolled like waves on black. I'm probably going to make this guy a summoner again. I love summoning things with chancers. It creates a thunderous explosion that stuns and shoves enemies in an area of effect. What happened to my musics? Oh. So, thunder rolled like waves on the Black Seas. Creates a thunderous explosion that stuns and shoves enemies in the area of effect. Why I have 2 different musics going on? I'll tell you. One is because not all game music is continuous, and I need continuous music half the time to even concentrate, and I apologize in advance. Though AoE, 12 to 19 crush damage, 4 meters. So this is AoE, 4 meter. A 4 meter AoE. That's nice. Not felled by the axe and broken by the storm. Increases action's shock damage for allies in the area of effect. That is cool, but not good for us. If their bones still slept under that hill, none can say. Summons 3 human skeletons. Yes. And hell half crush upon the shield. Reduces damage reduction of enemies in the area of effect. This is good too. Phantom summons the Phantom. He's a pretty good tank kind of thing, but he's... I don't know. Calls beyond the shroud and summons the Phantom to fight for the party. Duration 12 seconds. Duration 20 seconds. Yeah, I would do this. Okay, here we go. So this is... I've talked about most of this in depth already. Highly recommended for Chanter. Recommended for Chanter Resolve. So Intellect and Constitution are recommended. Oh, I get it. So how many? We got 30 points left. So we leave. This is very sensitive, isn't it? Gosh dang, I wish it wasn't so sensitive. Oh good, we can do this. We can do it with the D-pad. Good. Put everything at 10 and go from there. Because if we're gonna have them. This works. Now where do we our little guy from? Or little girl from? Sorry, my bad. Adir. The Adir Empire is currently the largest and most powerful force in this part of the world. It is centered around the equator and has a tropical climate. Though the empire has colonies in numerous areas of the world, Greater Deer is at its heart and houses the majority of its humans and elven nations. Deadfire Archipelago. I don't really much in dexterity, but still. Consisting of the nation of Nestak, dozens of Amoa settlements, and hundreds of lawless, pirate-infested islands that stretch along the southern seas. Deadfire is home to boreal dwarves, Amawa, and a mixed variety of other races. Deadfire Archipelago is the last stop for anyone headed east. A multitude of monstrous sea creatures infest the ocean and beyond, making travel virtually impossible. Exemetal Plains. Located to the north of Ir Glenvath, the Exemetal Plains are a large expanse of fertile savannas that are extensively farmed by human and Orlan residents. The Exemetal culture is one of the oldest in the world, though one of the least imperialistic, having spread out little over the past several thousand years. Old Valia. Once the crown jewel of the southern seas, Old Valia is now the crumbled remnants of an empire warring merchant nations. Counting many humans and dwarves among their ranks, the Old Valian countries are still forces to be reckoned with, and are proud of their rich cultural heritage. Rawatai. Dominated by the Amawa nation of Rawatai, the Gulf itself is host to a number of nations, most of them Amara, Orlan, and Dwarven. Though these countries are relatively young, they are some of the most advanced colonial settlements in the east. The Gulf is a land of riches and resources for those who can take them, though the entire coast is often pummeled by violent storms. This Constitution. Living Lands. Living Lands is the mountainous region of the large northern island, renowned for its diversity of plant and animal life. Its weather is unpredictable, and its ecosystem vary dramatically from valley to valley. The Living Lands are home to an assortment of races and a variety of colonial and independent settlements. The White That Wins. We don't really have a high perception, though. A large cracked southern expanse of polar ice, the White That Wins is home to pale elves and small colonies of daring explorers, outcasts, and adventurers. While virtually no plant life grows in the White, it's home to many hardy species of dangerous animals that forage from the sea or prey upon each other to survive. So, might? No. Constitution? Maybe. I like the resolve, though. I like having high resolve. So, if you want to be an aristocrat, you've lived your life amongst the nobility. Your days have been marked by lavish meals and extravagant parties. Your conversations peppered with talk of pedigree and bloodlines. Boring. Dissident. You made a name for yourself as a troublemaker, disrespect for authority, and a lack of care regarding the rules are recurring themes in your life. Hunter. You live for the thrill of the chase. Whether for glory or for sustenance, you have made your living taking the lives of wild creatures. Drifter. You never quite fit in no matter where you go. Each new town is just a place to rest briefly before moving on to the next. You're more comfortable on the road traveling the world. Laborer. Your life has been spent in the study of your craft. You trained and prepared, hoping to hone your skills and ply your trade. Mercenary. Blade and battle is your way of life. You solve your problems by pulling out your weapon and applying force. Philosopher. You're most at home inside your own head, analyzing the nature of the world that's kind of me, its inhabitants. Merchant. You traded goods from all over the world, pairing items with buyers of all kinds. Lore, mechanics. Scholar. For you, knowledge is a relentless pursuit. You hoard each kernel of information as though it were precious metal, and the time you don't spend learning is time wasted. I like laborer. I would have that as athletics too. I like that. So. I like that labor, yeah. I get it.
That's cool. That works.
Yes?
I shall lead us.
Yeah, volume needs to be definitely changed.
Let's go!
Quickly and quietly.
Well, I'm flattered. Stand together! Quietly now. Follow me. Let's go. Eh? I've got this.
Yay! Yes. Let's do this.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you are planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
Menad's sort of looming black mass on the hillside, which is basically Adra.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who'd be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rock, could be. The stinging beetle round here carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, of course. In which case you'll be dead in a day. There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry. About the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water. I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker. But see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
Oh, whoops, way fast, way fast. What are those ruins?
Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear. Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pawn, so I hear. They grow on a bush that's common round here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one. Got different names for them. Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much. Not if you hurry about your business, and not if the weather holds up. This time of year, rain mostly, and wind. But there's a different kind of wind out here time to time. Locals call it a beowick, born out of the ether, the spirit's path. Never seen it myself, never cared to. They don't got Adra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories. It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days. The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that. Hold on. Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans over the travelers, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy armor-clad woman who spent her journeys nights sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow.
Kalisha. Kalisha!
The woman looks up on her own time. She needs to find some springberries. Watch that she doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Beawick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
You heard the man. Let's get going before you keel over.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Oops, I want to save too. That's cool looking. Wait, what is party window? How do we get there? Right. Of course. Character sheet. The character sheet shows characters' attributes, skills, and abilities, taking greater intelligence and greater detail. Use R to navigate the menu sections. So. What's my health at? 180, 180? That's not too bad, I guess. Endurance is 45, that's not too bad. She... Wow. Oh, she's a fighter, though. Gotcha. Mechanics is 2. Confused. It's okay. My reputation is none because we haven't done anything really. Deflection, fortitude, reflex. Well, I like this a lot better on here. Okay. Inventory navigator. Use. Yeah. How do we look to it? This item grants Gaun's Pledge. This item grants the ability to shield the wearer from the myriad perils that plague the world of Eora. An aspect of the god Eothis, Gaun represents the harvest of old age, symbolized here by the many interlocking sickles from the ring. As Gaun helps protect the dignity of old age, so too does his followers prevent life. What? Gaun's Pledge. Oh, nice. Plus 15 endurance on use. That helps. That's cool. So we will equip this. Examine. This tiny Titanic pig has an otherworldly appearance and seems to be at odds with its endearing behavior. It follows you dutifully and requires nothing in return save companionship. Sure, why not? A cosmetic pet, why not? So she's dual wielding. That's good. And I am one-handed shield. That's gonna change, I think. Dex, right? Dex, no, it won't change. I'll be just. I want to be ranged though, just because. Resolve was off the charts, so. And my intellect is too. So good for. Maybe I should be. Have a better area of effect than most people. I might have to do a spell centered chancer and have somebody else be a summoner. Yeah. Okay. That's done.
Why not? There! Done!
Done! Potion of Examine. Plus 50 endurance. How can we... Caravan. Here would end. Here. Interaction. Tapping X lets you interact with people and objects in front of you.
Anyone need supplies? I've got some.
Hidden. You see a man wearing simple but mostly neat clothes. He's transfixed, however, by a ragged tear in the seam of his
Got
tunic.
a whole wagon full of goods to sell, but not enough shirts for the road.
He scratches one cheek with his knuckles, is covered with uneven stubble, as if he hasn't quite gotten used to shaving on the road.
Say, is there anything you need? I'm a trader, originally from the Adir Empire.
Adir,
I've been
okay.
trying to establish new business out here. Life on the road has brought some unexpected challenges, to be sure. And I'm sure you've noticed how prickly the locals can be. But we're here to make the most of things, right?
Well, we'll see, I suppose. Should do right by my family.
Something else you need? Looks like it's not as big as it used to be, but it's still big. The mainland is a continent northwest of here, but the colonies used to include Raed Ceres and the Deerwood.
Raed Ceres. Okay.
About 150 years ago, Deerwood won its independence from the Empire. A fact our companions are quick to remind me of. Because it seemed friendlier than Raed Ceres? My brothers took over the family mercantile business a few years ago, and there wasn't enough for me to do back home. I moved out to try and expand.
Deerwood is a former Adir colony, so it seemed like a good place to start. As much as I admire the Raed Ceres' work ethic, they've always struck me as a little fanatical. Seems like you got, yeah. I don't see it that way. Hayden begins recycling the crates in his wagon. My brothers and I are working together for the sake of the family enterprise. Let's see what you got. Oh shit, do we? How much money do we have? 100. Sword, crossbow. I want to get a crossbow so bad. Crossbows. Crossbows. What kind of crossbow is it? Does it say? Arbalist and crossbow. Oh, besides crossbow with ordinary cocking, no cranker stirrup, bonus high damage. I kind of need that because if I have no actual good dexterity, you know, I mean, it just makes sense. Great sword, no. Hunting bow. simple bow used by commoners for hunting. Bonus, fast attack speed. Accuracy versus deflection. Pike, quarterstaff. Warbow. Large heavy pull military style longbow. Bonus high damage. Do we have an arbalist? Do you have an arbalist, yo? You do not. You have lockpick, so. Ah, no. We will go with your crossbow, I guess. No, we'll go with your hunting bow. Awesome. What's in here? Oh, nice. Retrain character? Nah, that's not what I want to do. You now have one rank in the disposition reputation. These reputations represent how people perceive your personality. Even that reputation will be favored by some, and benign reputations can be out worse than others. Okay, well, what we want to do is we want to equip this now. And how do we make it active is my question. Oh, there we go. Piggy piggy. Party selection. Pressing L1 or R1 unless you quickly cycle through party members. Ooh, we should do that. So combat only. Edit chance. There you go. Oops, nope, nope, nope. How do we select this? How we... Oh, customize. There we go. Aggressive. How's it defensive? Nearby enemies. Oh. Customize. Here we go. How do we? I choose all people. Oh, X, no. Huh. Oh, okay.
I'll have your water soon enough. Stream's not going anywhere.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Let's check by those outcroppings.
And fight some wolves. Okay. Right. Okay. Cool. Attack. Attack.
Brave face. Sure.
Nice. We already lost anything too.
This is it.
Okay, that's gonna be interesting to get hold of. Labor, Odema says you're working woman. Probably a builder. I don't know if I should go into like the lore quite yet. I want to open it up to the prologue first and actually see what have you guys see what actually happens real quick.
What a surprise. Sparfle went hunting. At least he left the water skins. Come on.
You crouch at the river bank and dip your water skin into the cool water while Calicia waits nearby, keeping watch. As you rise, you notice to look up sharply toward the tree line. Out of trees emerges Sparfell, one of the guys, barely discernible in the dim moonlight. He no longer carries his bow, and there is a strangeness to his gait. His stride wobbly as he moves toward you with labored breath.
Sparfle? Are you alright?
Sparfle's toe catches on a rock, and he collapses forward in a heap, the feathered shaft of an arrow planted between his shoulders like an enemy flag. How many?
Ambush!
Wayface.
Let's go!
Invocations? Maybe? Okay.
Come on, we have to get back to camp.
More dead.
Wayface, you miss me too.
That's cool. All around you lie the massacred remains of the other travelers, peppered with arrows and knife hilts, splayed and bug-eyed and filthy. Calicia puts the back of her left hand to her mouth as if to ward away poisonous vapor. A handful of dark figures stand above the fallen, treading on limbs, backs, and heads, striking their axes from bodies as if from half-split logs. One of them, towering and severe, with a thick beard tasseled with knots, holds a wet blade at the neck. The man you recognize as Hayden, last of your caravan left standing. Lay down your arms, trespasser. Do not forfeit this man's life. Fight you will lose. Death willed by the gods is not murder, but righteousness. You have trespassed in places of which no mortal man is worthy. The debt is not ours to pay, but yours. So I say again, lay down your arms. Huh. That sucks.
Puedes irles mi...
Let's go!
It is not really a fighter, to be honest, more like a rogue. The enemy lies supine on the ground, unable to rise. His companions now silent among the other dead. His breath comes in wheezing, fitful gasps. He looks not at you, but at the sky above you. Forgive us. Barely audible beneath his choked sighs, a whisper of wind stirs the air. At this, man's eyes rolls back as he closes them. Good, good, the gods are just. A queer smile crosses his face. I am ready. The wind begins to swell, whipping around the camp, electric and volatile, upending pots and rattling tents like an angry spirit. You can feel it begin to seep beneath your skin. Where it pierces you, it feels as though it is rending you apart from within. Seated against the wagon wheel amidst the howling maelstrom, slashed across chest and bow, a Damon's body stirs, and with great effort he raises his sagging head, his eyes barely open. He looks directly at you.
Get inside! Run!
Straining against the gale that threatens to pull you off your feet with every step, you set your hands in the worn folds of weathered rock and set about pulling yourself up to the precipice. With the last burst of energy before your arms give out, you swing yourself up onto the ledge. He and trails behind you, slowed by injury and delayed by early hesitation. As he nears the face of the rocks, one of the fallen attackers who has been feigning death lunges for Heaton and topples him onto the rocky ground. Restrained, Heaton lashes out against the fatigued assailant, but struggles to break his hold. They are close to you. From your position, you have a good chance of hitting your mark. I can't tell which is, I guess it's fire to the attacker. Your aim is to and the hits charge Heaton loose. Lurching to his feet, Heaton clambers up the base of the rocks. As he nears the top, however, the wind flares, pulling him sideways and tearing one of his hands free. But diving out onto the hard rock, you manage to catch hold of it. Securing his other hand, you pull with waning strength, and it feels as though your arms will be jerked from their sockets. They hold just long enough for Heaton to set his feet and join you on a trembling ledge. There's deep resonance to the swelling wind now. You feel it in the rocks beneath your feet and inside the cavity of your own chest, as though it would shake the marrow from your bones. Each new gust menaces the old stones before you, loosening connections, unsettling balances. As you dart beneath the old archway, the entire portal begins to fall beneath its own weight. Fun. That's part of the prologue.
Was that?
A Bewick. Had to be.
Then we're lucky to be alive.
And we're the only ones.
We can't stay here. There could be another collapse. We're not getting out that way anyway. Let's get further inside. Can you walk?
Good stuff. Let's go. lower level of the ruin is blocked off by fallen rubble.
That should be far enough. But what now?
We look for another way out. Storm has to die sometime.
Then Fathens, those be the hut dwellers that Dama warned you about, look to be things of Galloween, who are the twitchiest of the lot. They go to ruin and ruin looking for fights with colonists. Poor Dama, I think he half expected this once we lost the main road. Windstorm of a kind they only get near Glenfath. Not too many people live through them, so it's hard to know what's true. Grandfathers have a word, Biawak. To them it's the god's way of reaping the souls of the land that couldn't find a way out. But they'll take a living soul as soon as the dead ones. Still got yours? I don't believe that. Odema would never allow it, but much as the fangs are hotheads, Grandfathers don't attack without being provoked. Either they saw something and got wrong ideas, or there are looters in here with us. That's not something we need right now. Barath's real got a hold of them now. God's giving them better luck in their next lives. Maybe you shouldn't know me well enough to know what upset looks like. Maybe I've seen worse too. Seen worse and kept on walking because there's nothing else to be done, because there's other people you care about who still need you. Let's get going.
Could we maybe stay here and rest a few hours? I've lost some blood. It seems quiet off to the left. Might be a place to rest there.
I hate to say this, but we can't afford to stay put. Those Glonfathens were riled about something. Could be we got company in here. Looters will be armed and ready to kill, and there's probably a lot of them. We can't be caught sleeping in their beds.
Please, I just need to lie down for a while. Then we can move as fast as you want.
Maybe you didn't hear me. We are gonna die in here if we don't get moving and get this place figured out before the looters come back. We've either gotta find the exit or a damn good place to hide.
I'll do my best.
I know, I'm sorry, but she's gonna disappear and she's a fighter. You're a rogue. I'd take a fighter over a rogue, honestly. Alright, we can either take this way, which is the trap, kind of thing, like a puzzle.
Look at the
tiles look
tiles.
suspicious.
What are those
Let's
symbols?
be careful.
We got a path now. Just cool this. That's how you do it. This looks fun. Lesser black ooze. Fine. Let's get it. Get it.
Let's go!
That was quick. That didn't take long. Okay. Can we do this on controller now? Oh my gosh. Okay, he's gone. Yeah, we're not taking that way. That was... You can't do it with a controller then. There's no... Unless you do it one at a time, which I'm not gonna do. So we're gonna take out these Zarips. Whatever.
Wait, do you hear that?
This small folio is torn in several places, and blood has soaked into several of the sheets. One later entry is still legible, however. I can't believe my luck. A few rounds of dice, and I've gotten my hands on a genuine Ingwethan artifact. A few fellow had said it was pretty nothing as far as he's concerned. He's not willing to go digging in some ruins. If you forget about this gem leading to hidden treasure, then there's worth seeking past a few painted elves. I'll decide to seal it list in the morning. It's a matter of finding this relief he was talking about. Okay. Crossbow.
That looks
might
weak.
be able to break
Could
through
be a
here.
shortcut.
Crack runs along this wall from floor to ceiling. A light gust of air passes through it. Despite the image, the sun looks heavy and try something else. Oh, I see.
I could scout ahead, see what's around the corner.
You do that.
I'll be quiet.
Enemy spotted, okay. He does that thing again with his breath, which is not cool.
was quick.
Brave face.
Four figures stand before an otherworldly apparatus, an ancient structure of chiseled adra and metallic veins, ominous and looming like a silent observer. Standing motionless in the midst is what appears to be a human body, colorless as stone or ash. The other figures gaze upon it with what might be contemplation. From your vantage point, you are well obscured from their view. The figure closest to the machine stands out among them. A thick gray beard frames the face otherwise hidden beneath a metallic mask. His faded robes are embroidered with a runic language unlike anything you've ever seen. He wears a strange black headdress with two protrusions that jet out like the wings of some malevolent creature.
Oathbinder, bear witness, and see this man has kept his word true to his last breath, full to his blood's last drop. Guide his soul, queen that was, and regard it among your favored. Let his life by the key be his confession. Let his death by the key be his absolution. May he walk the world ever free of the crushing weight of the book. Your brother has done his part, and you have seen the power of his contribution. I will accept no further hesitation from the rest of you. In the sight of the queen that was, will you fulfill the oath? Will you take your place beside your brother in the endless esteem of her memory that is without flaw? Step forth and be assured of the great worth of your life's course.
For an instant, the apparatus was quiet and the air still. Then, all at once, it erupts with a concussive surge. Light floods your vision and you are knocked to the ground. Your head snaps back as you land, and pain wells into the back of your skull, washing your last thought away into the black, unconscious void. You open your eyes to a different place. Another time, you stand in a circular room, grand and domed. Its walls lined with adra and trimmed with copper. The style is ancient, but the chamber is unweathered. At the far end of the great pillar of adra pierces the floor from below, a shimmering texture giving the illusion of boundless depth. Encircling the pillar is an apparatus much like the one you have just seen, but immense and multifaceted and intertwined. Your thoughts are yours and not yours. They seem to exist before you think them, and they are all questions, pressing questions, troubling questions, questions that must be answered, or... At the base of the pillar now you see a man with a thick gray beard and a ceremonial robe crowned with a strange ornamental headdress. You know this man. You're walking towards him now at a pace that is afraid will try not to appear so. You have something you want to ask him, one question above all, and the question spins madly in your mind. Yep, that sucks. You awaken to find your malaise is broken only to be replaced with something far more concerning. Faint whispers are audible at the edge of your hearing, like a ringing in your ears that does not subside. Movement flits through your periphery. When you turn to look, you can see no signs of whatever it was. You find your gaze regularly darting this way and that, an involuntary paranoid tick. If this is a sickness, it may be dangerous to go without treatment for long.
Figures at the machine stand frozen in place, flesh and blood replaced by cinders and ash. The man who led them is nowhere to be seen. He and Kalisa lie bloody on the uneven cobbles, their bodies twisted unnaturally in death. You are alone and far from help. Go to Vale may be your best hope of receiving treatment before things get worse. A character is ready to level up. Do you want to level up now? Yes. Okay, now we can do it with the D-pad. Stuff else, yeah. Probably athletics and mechanics, honestly. Okay, now I think we wanted this to be an actual thing, so. Again, it's just, one per encounter, that's good. That's cool. No. A young dwarf tending to the stew looks up, startled as he sees you approach. He drops his ladle, spattering stew across the ground. What? The bandit turns. Get her, you dogs, and make sure our new cook don't run off. Oh, hippie, please. Okay. So this guy is range. So he's probably. That's 10 for it. So this guy's range.
Damn!
Can I do it now?
Let's go!
Wait.
Not going as well as I thought. Why not so many skeletons? Come on, some skeletons. Did I not choose it? I thought I chose it.
Let's go!
Really? Can't tell this at 3 or not, but we'll try it. This is 1.
Why, I can set down here.
Hail and well met.
Veces mito.
Let's go!
Veces mito. My eyes are peeled.
Amulets are most often gems, medallions, or other items worn around the neck. While some serve a purely ornamental purpose, many are imbued with charms and spells to aid the wearer. Torics are stiff rings worn around the neck. Like amulets, they often have magical properties.
Greetings.